Alright, so for those of you who have been following along with the James Brown build, thank you guys. I appreciate the support. For those of you who haven't, should consider checking it out. I don't know, I think it's fun, I think it's cool. A little background on it. It is a 1984 first generation Mazda RX-7. I've got a 5.3 in it with a Texas Speed cam, a single 7875 turbo. Everything is under the hood. The only things left to do are get this bad boy mounted underneath, get a Turbo 400 transmission for it, drive shaft, a little bit of plumbing, a little bit of wiring, and then we're pretty much good to start destroying some tires. Now, back to this for a second. This is a Ford 8.8 rear end, and they are very popular for like LS swaps in particular, but pretty much any sort of like budget-oriented rear end swap. Now, why is that? A couple quick reasons. First of all, they are everywhere. The other day when we actually pulled this out of the junkyard, there was, I think, been about 10 of them all together. And there were, I think, like 6 that were the ones we were after, where they were disc brakes and a limited slip. So they're everywhere. And that was just in the one junkyard we looked at. They made them in, I think one thing I read said that they were in 24 different Ford vehicles. And because they're everywhere, they're super cheap. I scored, I mean, albeit it was some effort to get it out of there, but I scored this complete rear end disc to disc with the sway bar and a spare axle for 125 bucks, I think. And they came in a bunch of different ratios. They came in 308s, 327s, 355s, 373s, 410s, and a bunch of variations where they were either open diff or limited slip. So they're everywhere and they're cheap. And number 3, they're pretty dang strong. If any of you guys are familiar with sloppy mechanics, you'll know that this is pretty much the go-to axle, and it's one of the reasons that I chose it for a budget turbo LS, whether it's in a first-gen RX-7 or something like Dick Ham's Pacer. People are making a bunch of power through them, like upwards of 700, 800 horsepower to the wheels. There are some you don't want to get, like some of the ones from Rangers, some of the earlier like Fox body ones. I think the later Mustang ones, they beefed them up a little bit. The ones that I was looking for in particular were from like a 94 to 2001 Explorer, and the main reason for that is because those ones have 31 spline axles from the factory, so they're really beefy. And a quick little tip I want to talk about that. Here is my spare axle, all grease covered, which is actually preferred. If you don't want to take the time and try to count all the way around them, take a nice clean piece of paper and just do one of these guys and just get a firm press, and then you can just do like that and just count them like that. So I do know that this is a 31 spline axle. Let's get that out of there, because I did that a couple times and I was really proud of myself because I'd never seen that before. That was something I just thought about. Anyway, yeah, the Explorer ones and some of the later Mustang ones, I don't know what year they switched to things. You're going to want to do that research yourself. They're, like I said, they're super versatile, so you can shorten them real easily, which is what I'm going to do with this one, which is why I got the passenger axle. For the Explorer ones, they come, I think, like a real close to 59.5 inches. Could be 59 3/8, could be 59 5/8, I don't know. I haven't measured this one, I don't remember the exact number. They'll change a little bit based on manufacturer tolerances. Anyway, they'll come 59 and whatever inches, and if you steal a passenger axle out of another vehicle, which is what I did, it is actually shorter on the passenger side, so you can cut the difference of the axles out of the driver's side and just slip a passenger side axle in there, and boom, now you have a 3-inch narrowed axle with the pig centered in the diff, or centered in the axle. If you're not wanting a narrowed one, or you don't want an offset differential, a lot of the Mustang ones are centered, I believe. I don't see why they wouldn't be. And for vehicles like in my case with this first gen RX-7, this has a real retarded bolt pattern. The wheels are 4x110, which is damn near impossible to find any good wheels for, especially in like a 15-inch wheel. that is the same bolt pattern as my neighbor's side-by-side, or like a quad bolt pattern. So I can find those for it all day, but those only go to typically like a 12-inch wheel, and the width and offset and stuff is really stupid. So doing this swap will definitely help you get to a much easier bolt pattern to get to. This 5x4.5, you can buy jegs like Alumistar looking wheels or jegs Weld knockoff wheels for like 15 bucks a piece. Not really 15 bucks, or if you just find a used wheel, they're super cheap. So those are a lot of the reasons that an 8.8 swap is like becoming increasingly popular. And like I said, it's super strong. It's comparable to like a 12 bolt. It has obviously an 8.8 ring gear. A 12 bolt I think has an 8.87 inch ring gear. 8.89, it was something really close. That's why they're super comparable. Obviously a 9-inch has a 9-inch ring gear. I think these have a bigger pinion diameter than a 9-inch, so they're a little beefier there too. I hope this kind of sheds a little bit of light on why these are becoming so much more popular, or why you're seeing them so much more, or just if you were considering doing it yourself. I hope this gives you a little bit more information. You're definitely going to want to do your own research. I left out a ton. This is all just quick stuff that I was remembering, and I was like, hey, I should throw this up and see if I can make a couple bucks off it. But yeah, these 8.8s, great rear ends. I'm definitely planning on using them on future stuff. Who knows, we might actually throw one in Jack Black someday. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, right here is a Turbo LS RX-7 that I'm building. Right behind the camera is a 1988 GMC single cab short bed with an old school 350, just all naturally aspirated right now. Eventually that's gonna get some spray. What the fuck is that thing? Good Lord. Eventually that's gonna get some spray. Right over there is my supercharged NBS 2000 GMC Sierra, and that thing is real close to running 12s. Anyway, I hope you guys stick around. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, considering giving it some good old fingers. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.